Look at fire in the houses. Is that not what going to happen in my house? That can never happen in your house because that is due to wrong connection from the installer or the engineer. What we are trying to do is to make the renewable energy to be the primary source of power and the national grid to be a backup power.
This is Solardey, where every story begins with the sun.
Good day, Mr. Daniel. Welcome to the Solardey podcast. For our listeners meeting you for the first time, could you tell us who you are, what you do, and what problem are you obsessed with solving right now in the energy industry?
My name is Mr. Daniel Akinrinola. I am an industrial electronics engineer, and I work on industrial panels, controls, and solar installation. I've been in industry for about 20 years ago. The industry is doing fine, and now people are on the solar system as a primary source of energy. Instead of being a backup, people complain, most especially in the rural off-grid areas. Many of them are interested, but they cannot afford the price, unlike in the Lagos city where people are eager to install and to get off the national grid or taking the national grid as a backup.
For someone watching outside of Nigeria or maybe Nigerian diasporans or people from Europe, US, how would you describe the state of Nigerian national grid?
The national grid is failing presently. The presidency are not really reliable. They are not depending on the national grid because of breakdowns and most of the time collapse of the grid. Even the presidency are not confident on the Nigerian national grid. The national grid is presently failing the citizen.
We distribute only 4,000 megawatts to the people. So it's not just only production problem, we have also distribution problem. So the infrastructure is down. But I see it as opportunity, right? Decentralization. Just for context, here in Sweden, the national grid is functioning very well. But now we are actually working towards this decentralization, because we need the grid to be reliable, resilient. I was looking at your profile. I saw that you found
data light technology.
So my question is this: what gap did you see in the industry that you're building your company to fill?
What we are trying to do is to make the renewable energy to be the primary source of power and the national grid to be a backup power. So if a common citizen can have their own source of about 5 kVA a solar system in their own house, meaning they will not have anything to do with the national grid. And presently, the solar panels is more cheaper than initially as it was before. So what we are trying to do is to make people understand that the solar systems, the source is more advisable and is more easy to acquire than putting up infrastructure from the national grid to the off-grid areas like rural areas. So it is very easy to generate your own power from the sun and from your environment instead of all the problem and the stress before getting to the national grid, and at the same time there will be no supply. So we are trying to enlighten people about this, and instead of acquiring it at the higher price, we are having some companies in Nigeria that sell the system. The people will pay instrumentally, and then instead of them to pay outright. So we are trying to bridge this gap so that many people will go out of their houses to work. During the days, they will not be around in the house. In the evening, coming to their home to rest and to enjoy the necessary appliances in the house, they will discover there's no power. So instead of this, the renewable energy will have been storing with their power bank and their solar panel. They will have their own sure source in their house. When they come in, they can make use of their inverter. So we are trying to bridge the gap.
This is a noble cause, and I commend you for what you guys are doing. There's still a lot of work to be done in Nigeria, where approximately 85 million people do not have access to reliable electricity. What is like the biggest challenge you face as an entrepreneur? Is it the finance or the lack of education on the side of the customers, like not knowing about the technology, or is it the policy, or all of the above? Could you throw some light on that?
There's a lot of challenges from the consumers because many of them did not understand how these renewable energies work. Some of them thought it's something that is very, very cheap to acquire. And some of them thought if you have your solar panel, then you make use of light, not considering every other gadget that is attached to it. So when they heard of all we have to go through in acquiring the complete system, many of them are just like, wow, that is too much. Finance is one of the challenges that we'll face here. In some cases, you discover some people, you give them a complete kit, and you discover some of them do away with the kit. Some of them will not able to manage the system very well. Many of them complain, no, it's not working. Like during the Harmattan period, the efficiency of the system will go down, and many of them believe this thing is not working and just need to just a little service to be done or to be carried out on it. So lack of education is part of the problem that we are facing here, and a lot of the, let me say, the poverty aspect of in Nigeria could not make many people to acquire the system.
Okay, if I get you right, the financial aspect of it, the challenges, and for that we need dynamic financing, maybe low cost loan. We will talk about that later. And when it comes to education, that's one of the reasons why we set up this podcast, where we can make the conversation around solar energy relatable, so that everybody can actually follow and start to understand how it works. Because at the end of the day, for Nigeria and for most people in developing world where they don't have access to electricity, solar becomes not just technology, it's about people, purpose, and progress. And once you fix that, you have the industrial growth, you have better healthcare, better food processing. So this is one of the reasons why we actually started Solardey, to look at the problems and together with stakeholders find out solutions, and bring in the policymakers, the banks, and investors to see the opportunities. You are doing great, and I really appreciate what you're doing. But I didn't get it right. Where are you based in Nigeria?
I'm based in Lagos. We discover in Lagos, like in schedule of the national grid, they have bands in supplying the electricity. Presently, we are having band A, band B, band C, and band D. So the people on band A, they pay a huge amount of money, and they have electric supply for about 18 hours per day.
Okay.
While the people on band D, they will have light for about 4 hours in a day in the same environment. But in the extreme end of Lagos, we discovered that they were just like outcasts. So we now focus on the outskirts side of Lagos State. That is, when we are coming towards the undeveloped side, like boundary between Ogun State and Lagos State. So we situated there, and then we share both states together, and so that we can get in touch. Because in Lagos, many companies who are on solar backup generators, that gasoline engine, and they are also on national grid. So they have the three together. But most of them are not relying on national grid as their primary source of power. Many of them rely on the solar because during the day they have their equipment working with their system, their panel, everything is working. But during the cloudy period, you discover that the solar may not perform up to the 100%. So because of that, a backup generator should, in case national grid went off. But like in the rural area, the outcast of the Lagos, you discover that many people, they are unable to afford to install the three systems of power production.
So, who are your customers? Where are you focusing? Private homes or SMEs, or you're just combining it?
Presently, I focus on domestic and small scale industry. We install at least installation of about, let me say, 10 kVA, 25 kVA equipment. So even some of some of people will love uh, to set their solar panel to to for their carports. Here, most of the customers like hotels, bars, banks, like abattoirs. Some of the project might be 15 kV, 15 kilowatts, 10 kilowatts. Some people 5 kilowatts.
Okay.
So whatever that comes in, that we take.
Yeah. But that's the good thing about solar. It is very flexible. You start with your energy
Yeah.
requirements and then you look at the financial aspect of it, and you can always upgrade, build it to become bigger as time goes on. So that's the beautiful thing about solar. But you're mentioning 10 kV, 15 kV. For context, someone that doesn't really know much about solar energy, what would 10 kV power in a home?
Yes, 10 kVA solar system will power a full house. 10 kVA will power up to 3 AC,
Okay.
3 AC of 1 horsepower, deep freezer, fans, bulbs, CCTV camera, laptops, and so on and so forth. So a 10 kVA solar installation is like, let me say, a medium energy source, which at least someone can really rely on his power source without national grid.
Okay. How much would it cost approximately in Naira?
Yes, the installation cost, in most cases, we consider the location before we calculate cost, because there's some places that will be, let me say, a duplex. The wiring system, the installation, the safety aspect of it might make different from where we are having a bungalow. So, like installing the 10 kVA inverter, we go for about from 7.5 million to 10.5 million
Okay.
in Naira.
Okay. That's a decent amount. And in this 7 to 10 million, is there any government support? Is there any incentive to people, or do they pay for it themselves 100%? Let me expand on this so you understand why I'm asking. Because here in Sweden, actually, we have incentives for installing solar energy, which is up to 50% of the cost of installing your solar power with battery system. You get it as a tax reduction. For instance, in one of Solardey series, where we go to house owners and find out how much their system costs and why they install it. Last 2 weeks, I was at a guy's place, and in a system that cost 1,000 Swedish crown, he got almost 50% of that cost from the government. So I'm wondering if we have anything like that in Nigeria.
Yes, in Nigeria here, what I can really be sure of is reduction in VAT and duty on these
Okay.
materials. But assistance for installation houses or their residents, I don't think I don't think there's anything like that,
Okay.
except the solar companies, that they have grants from the government and they now give to the people instrumentally, or direct assistance or direct discount from government or support to individual. There's nothing like that. And if it is, a lot of Nigerians are afraid of, maybe after taking this, they will be accumulated cost, and maybe as time goes on, the interest on the money given to them, they might not be able to pay. So illiteracy is part of things that do not make everybody to know what we have in the country and uh, what are benefits that is available to them. So that is why a lot of people are afraid of approaching the government or the bank for such assistance.
Okay. Thank you. It's quite interesting to know since almost all the materials, all the equipments needed for solar installation are imported. So I guess tax reduction from the point of entry and VAT, that's also a way of keeping the price a bit lower for people to
Yes.
be able to afford it. So that's a kind of indirect incentive if you look at it. I have seen
Yes.
so many clips on social media where there is solar panels on rooftop burning, and I've actually seen people advising, don't you dare install solar panels on your main house. Make sure you do it on your carport in case of fire. So I'm wondering, could you tell us why all those accidents?
What really happened is that is most of these fire hazards caused by misinstallation by some installers. Many of them do not understand the principle of connection of the solar panel. Some installers don't know how to connect this. They will connect wrongly, and this will allow the panel to overheat without load. If it works instantly, maybe within 2 or 3 weeks, you can discover the panel will get overheated and burnt up. Sometimes during thunder strike or thunderstorms, some of the panel got burnt because of maybe there's no strong surge or thunder arrest. I have seen some of my customers that send the pictures to me. Look at fire in the houses. Is that not what going to happen in my house? And that can never happen in your house because that is due to wrong connection from the installer or the engineer.
So if I get you right, the problem is basically human error when the engineers, the installers, or let's say from the sizing, not matching the equipment as it should be. That's literally the reason why we have fire outbreak. It's not that solar system in itself is dangerous.
No, it's not dangerous.
Thank you for clearing that out because that's a big misconception about solar energy. And that's why education is important, public outreach, talking about solar energy, the systems, the system failure, the difference between a properly installed solar system and a wrongfully installed solar system. Is there any framework for safety provided by the government or any organization in Nigeria, quality control? Is there anything like that?
Yes, we have SOM, the Standard Organization of Nigeria, to rectify the qualities of the materials you are bringing in. Because in some cases, you discover in Nigeria here, some people will prefer a cheap material, and because of that, they don't care whatever that will happen after the installation. But because of the installation cost, they will say, "What if I have so amount? Can I install such?" Some engineers will not be able to stand on their ground that cannot give you a perfect work. So we have a standard organization that regulates the products that comes in, that check whether it's to the standard of our condition here in Nigeria, our weather.
That's really great to know. But I am thinking about the installers. Are there a quality standard for installation? Are there checklists when you're installing for safety? Is there any control before you connect it and set it on?
Yes, there is a standard of installation. Material needed for 10 kVA inverter. You cannot use the material needed for 5 kVA inverter to install a 10 kVA inverter. Because of the battery size, the breakers, contactors that needs to be used, they are different. And instead of you making use of maybe a 10 mm standard cable for the 5 kVA, and you now make use of let me say 3 mm flexible cable for the installation, the result is going to be fire hazard. So there is a materials to be used for each capacity of material of inverter or solar system you want to use.
Thank you so much. Let me ask you a funny one. If you become, let's say, Minister of Power for 24 hours, what would be the first things you do, the policies that you will implement to change the Nigerian energy situation?
Yes, if I'm opportune for that, like what has happened in Nigeria today, like decentralizing the national grid and giving license to states. I will have even given license to many companies for a renewable energy, because we discovered that the cost is not as much as the thermal production for the national grid, the gas consumption for a backup generators. I will encourage the green energy and the safety aspect of it, so that there won't be much hazard, because it will be a relief from the burden of drawing cables or erecting poles from one place to another, the danger in erecting high tensions. I will encourage a village to have their source, their power production. Even city market in Lagos today, we are having markets that is being powered with solar. It's being generated within the market and they distribute it to the market. So I will encourage this, because the longevity of the renewable energy is also enough. Like a solar panel now, we have 10 to 25 years warranty on the solar panel. Some inverter 5 years, and even if it's faulty, we still have technicians that can lay their hands on it and repair. Okay, so I would love to invest in the development of the technology of this renewable energy.
Wow, that's a good one. I guess you will also be thinking about local production, because we have lithium, we have silicon. So actually, Nigeria could manufacture all these components needed in Nigeria. Just to add on what you say, that would be great when we import less and actually improve our local manufacturing, create even more jobs and make it even more circular. I think that will be one of the keys to a prosperous Nigeria. For young people watching this and listening to you that want to get into solar energy industry, I would like to know, is it a profitable venture, and what skills should they focus on?
Yes, for the young Nigerians that are watching, it's a very profitable business to venture in. Going into solar system or solar engineering, I will encourage most of them to acquire knowledge, because what we have in Nigeria today is that many of our young ones, they were impatient. Some of them, they want to become an installer within 2 days. They want to just go for 1 week training and become a solar engineer. It is more than that. Like the aspect of the components that comprise the inverter. It's something that you need to study. How does this thing work? You need to learn. So it is very, very lucrative. It's very good to venture into it. So I will have encouraged them to acquire a standard knowledge before they go into the business.
Young Nigeria, young Africans who want to go into solar, acquire knowledge, be patient, learn, understand the system, and think safety first. And the sky will be the limit, because we need energy, and we have to solve these problems ourselves. We need a capacity building, people that know how these systems work, to be able to install them and also maintain them through the years. Thank you so much for coming on our show. If you feel like the sound quality is not good, these are the challenges we face trying to build Solardey and bring these conversations to you. So bear with us. We are working to fix all these challenges. We believe in prosperous Nigeria. But before we let you go, who would you want to see on our show next?
I think I would love to see a more competent engineer than myself, which I can learn from, because knowledge is power. sharing experience of engineers together and listening to another engineer in the area of their success and their disappointment. It will upgrade me also and build me. So that is why I would love a solar engineer that is more high capacity.
Thank you. That's exactly why we're here. We are actually building a network of individuals, stakeholders in this industry. And when the platform is ready, it will be an avenue for you to connect with engineers from the Nordic, Europe, or anywhere in the world to share ideas and proper solutions. So it's really great having you here on the show. But before we leave, for people watching you that would like to get in contact with you, how and where would they find you? Your number, your website?
My office presently is situated at Lagos, Agege. So number 1, Ladoje Street, Okoba, Agege.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. We will definitely leave your contact information on the caption when we share this podcast so people can reach you. For the last word, where do you see the Nigerian energy in the next 10 years?
Yes, during my research, I discovered the solar system future is very, very bright because I'm about to search out a component that is even more efficiency than silicon, solar curtain that can be used in future. You have your curtain in your house and to generate energy that you can store in your battery, use for your house without installing on your house top. Even this can be code on cars, which can be used to power cars. In fact, it will be the future of the power system in the country if we can follow it up and go along with the developed country. And so I believe Nigeria will be very great.
Thank you so much. And Nigeria is going to be great. And that's why we're building these systems. The future is looking bright, especially in the energy industry. Solar is going to even become cheaper. Batteries are going to become affordable. And then we will have more integrated systems that it doesn't have to be a retrofit. It could be everywhere, and the future looks bright. And on that note, thank you for coming. Thank you so much. And you listeners, thank you for hanging with us. Until next time, stay bright, stay bold. Peace and solar power to the people.
This is Solardey, where every story begins with the sun.